I used to be a language arts teacher, right? Sorry, it's really hard to like concentrate on what you're trying to click and then actually talk to people at the same time. So you can tell right now that I'm just like, yeah, okay, I got to focus. William Stafford was a professor at Lewis and Clark and a writing instructor, writing teacher, and he would instruct his students to lower your expectations and start writing, which I always thought was such a great line to tell students. Don't get all freaked out about, just get some stuff down on the page. And I think that's a true philosophy for teaching as well, is especially as we're jumping into this online environment for the first time, at least I am, to lower your expectations and just start teaching. You'll learn as you go, and you'll learn from each other, and your students will teach you as well, right? Does anyone, you concur with me about that philosophy?
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
So thank you for being patient with me as I click through screens.
So.
And I want to just, that was my first point, is lower your expectations and start teaching. And then in addressing you today, we have assistants and we have 2 lead teachers, but I wanted to just say our philosophy with Beaverton Literacy Council is we believe in a lot of cross training. So a lot of times it can happen that the assistants have to jump in and be a lead teacher. So we're just sort of address all of the things that we're focusing on today with, well, you're all lead teachers. Kind of wear that hat for yourself today, even if you are an assistant, because you just might have to be a lead or be asked to be a lead, and you might be able to jump in at any time to be able to do that. So the more you learn, the better, right? Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to just try to take you through some simulations and some tasks that you would do with your students, so you just sort of get a feel. So I hope I can stop and say, oh yeah, this is something that would be good to do with students. Because my mission here is really to get you to feel really comfortable with Zoom, which I think most of you are. I've spoken with or had a chat with a little bit with all of you, except Sarah. Not sure what your level of competency is, but that's my agenda today, feeling at home with Zoom, using the teacher tools within Zoom and trying to think about applying them right away with Intracambio, which is our online textbook. And we're not going to really talk about effective lessons in terms of like unpacking one, but just the anatomy of a lesson in general, how you think about teaching, and see if we can learn from each other about that. I think it takes a little time to dive into the curriculum itself, and you need time to do that before we can go down that path about what's an effective lesson. Intercambio gives you lots of ideas about that. How many of you have had chance to even look at the textbook online, the Intercambio one? Leah did.
Real briefly.
Just a little bit.
Very little.
Oh, yeah, me too. Like I'm teaching level 4 for the first time. I'm like, yeah, okay. I've kind of skimmed through a few things, but I haven't gone that deep. That's what September's for, right? Like, figuring it out. Sarah, do you have the link to it in the welcome letter?
I'm trying to think. I don't know. I must.
Okay.
I didn't see that.
That's okay. One document that we sent all of our volunteers was called the welcome letter. And it has a bazillion sublinks. It has a link to sign up for the Zoom training. It has a link about great teaching videos. It has a link about where to find the books. So that's a document that I bookmarked because I'm constantly going back to it. Have you guys been using that? The welcome letter to where all the sublinks are, you know what I mean? Was that useful, helpful way to organize it?
Yeah.
I'm trying
and
to
it was nice. Well, it was nice knowing after the welcome letter that we got a few days ago, which textbook we were going to be using, whether it was the left or the right.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I've been looking at both, so.
Right. And we couldn't really tell you what level you're teaching until just recently, because we're waiting for 327 students to register. So it's this cart before horse kind of thing. So we appreciate your patience in waiting for all that information. All right, let me start with this blue part, because I asked you in an email last night if you could scroll through it. Are you already really familiar with mute and unmute and turning your video on and off? Yes. And the speaker view versus the gallery view? I kind of have to see head shaking. Yeah. So Sarah, you've done Zoom meetings before, and yes. Okay. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. I think the thing about gallery view and speaker view, which threw me all the time, was, how it tells you in the corner, the right-hand corner, what it is. that's where you want to go. That took me a while to figure out. I was like really an idiot about that. I thought that's the view that I want to change to. That was my big aha. Do you have any big ahas when you first started learning Zoom that you want to share for a minute? The toggling screens or video on, off, or have you been in a breakout room?
Have been
Yeah.
in a, yes.
Yeah, let me just go around. Leah, you start. What are some of your ahas about Zoom?
Well, it does an interesting thing occasionally, which it just did to me, where it randomly decides that your camera and your microphone aren't there when you switch views. And there, if you're messing about with it too much. So I just got kicked off my video, and my it went from my microphone to my headphones to my monitor speakers, and I had to muck about with it really quick to get it to switch back. So I've actually had that happen a few times. So
Okay,
one can
yeah,
expect that.
I've had some trouble with my video too. It kicked out,
Hmm.
and all I do is muck about until I figure it out.
Yeah, well, usually all you have to do is go to the bottom left of the screen, and it'll, when it gets the pop-up in there for your microphone, and because all your audio and video settings
Yeah,
are in
yeah,
that
yeah,
bottom
yeah.
left corner there, and it'll.
Oh, you just timed out.
Of course I did.
Did you? Did you? Okay, cool. Anybody else about ahas about Zoom and your first experiences with it?
I think for me, it was just when someone's sharing the screen,
Mm-hmm.
and you have the little pictures of everyone, that you have so many options to choose. You can either choose just the speaker strip or the gallery view.
Mm-hmm.
So that took me a while to figure out. It just kept going to whatever the default was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. That's what I meant by what do those little images at the top mean? The gallery view icon. Yeah. Anybody else want to share some aha about Zoom or when you first jumped into it? Have you had a breakout room experience?
Briefly.
Briefly.
Yes.
Pamela, have you had a breakout room experience or
I have not
put
set one up.
not to set one up, but experienced it, been on the student
Oh,
side?
yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so you've all been on the student side. So then I'm not going to do this quick one within here because we've all sort of introduced ourselves. Carol, I'm sorry you missed a little bit of introduction. Do you have any questions for anybody? Curious?
No, that's okay. Yeah, I was just rushing to get home in time for 11, so I
No
just
worries.
was right on time. I
Okay,
don't
so
know what this ask for help button is. When I've been in breakout rooms, it's been more for, like meeting discussion purposes, not, it hasn't been an educational. So what happens when you press the ask for help? Does that show up to the moderator?
yes,
Okay.
when we'll call the moderator the host, because
The
you're,
host,
as a
yeah,
teacher,
the
you're the
Zoom
host, and you're the Zoom host. Yeah, and you'll get a question, and then you can reply back to that particular group. I'm no
Okay.
expert with I'm going to do breakout room with you today. I hadn't had a big enough class in the springtime to use them because I only had a few students. So I'm new at it too, but I do know that's what the feature is. So toggling, what about toggling between screens with sharing? You've all done that. Like if you want to share a YouTube video with your student, you feel like you could do a share screen and find it okay?
Yep.
Okay.
I had issues with the sound.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I was
me too.
thinking.
Okay, so let's go to navigation for teaching because you guys are all masters at 1 through 8, which is what I guessed. Woohoo! If you do Zoom training late enough in the year, then people are already doing it, right? From April, May, June. We're not going to worry about it. You've learned a lot. I have learned a lot since April. All right, so the big one, just to review, is that grabbing is just looking at the screens again, the gallery view. I didn't know at the beginning that you could actually pull that if you want to see, if you have more than 10 students in your class and you want to see them all, you can grab that corner and expand it. Did you know that? Took me a long time I didn't know that. Linda taught me that. I'm like, really? Oh, okay, that's good to know. So she made a visual. Some of these are her slides. She made a visual of it. So remember, and that's the, what do we call this view, Leah? This is gallery. This is, I
was
don't
gonna
know,
say stack view. What's
stack. That
that?
sounds good. Let's call it the stack view because I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called. Stack, and then your speaker view or full screen mode, which I tend to not be as a teacher in full screen mode at all. Because you're mostly sharing your screen. I would imagine that you're going to be mostly in this sort of stack mode, like we are now, when you're actually teaching or being in an assistant. All right, so the sharing the screen and toggling back and forth. Let's. Wait. Let's do the sharing screen because you just mentioned who just said I needed to share the video or computer. I didn't know how to do that.
I've never done
Sarah?
that.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to skip ahead to sharing your screen for a second. So it's this button here, the green one.
Mhm.
And then when you get, I'm going to give you an opportunity to practice sharing your screen. But this is a big mistake I did right at the beginning. I never clicked this button, share computer sound. You get this option, and that's how everyone else can hear your YouTube video.
Okay.
That's a really important feature, and you're going to be choosing your windows of these are representations of the what you have open on your browser. Like this is what Linda had open that day, and so you can toggle through and click on it, and that's going to share your screen right there. So let's go back and just practice that for a second.
But let's look at that other button there, that says optimize screen share for video clip. Do you need to hit that one as well when you're sharing video?
What do you think, Leah? I think so. I can't remember. Is it just like a visual thing? You're on mute. You're on mute. So I can click
Sorry,
on
my dogs
Asa.
were barking.
That's all right.
I actually have not tried that before, so I don't know.
Sometimes I just hit optimize because it's like optimizing your photos or something.
Mm-hmm.
I just make a guess. It hasn't stopped me from having students get their, listen to the YouTube video. So it's not blocking anything that I can tell. I'd have to look it up. So sorry, I don't know. But let's go to what Linda set up here. I'm going to put Linda's website, Linda's TESOL website, in the link chat. So, and then I'm going to ask you to copy that link and to your browser window, and then just sort of toggle back and forth between your browser windows. So in a Mac, you have to hit Command Tab, and in Windows, it's Alt Tab. Have you done that before? It's actually, Leah probably has.
Mm.
But I didn't know that you could see. This is another way to see all your browser windows and toggle to them. So you can go, wow, where am I? What am I trying to share? So let me stop share. And I'm going to go to chat. And in chat, there's an everyone, and I'm going to, well, before I do that, sorry. I'm going to copy Linda's website page. And I'm going to type it in there. And I guess my message is copy and paste. To your browser. Well, you know it, right? To your browser. Should I explain all that? So go ahead and try to do that.
Okay,
You can click through as well.
it came up. Yeah, you can just click it, and
you can click it and it'll open.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So take a look at her website for a minute, and I think maybe we could all just try to do the practice sharing screen. I think make sure I've given you all the options, advanced share options. Okay, I've just given you the option that you all can share the screen. So why don't you just take a minute to look at her website. I think, who can share when someone else is sharing?
Well, we should probably take turns so that
Yeah,
we
let's
can
say, yeah. So
all
let's go
see,
from left to right.
right?
Nancy, you want to, well, I think on her website, there is something called, where she talked about online teaching, right?
Yeah.
Take a look at
Okay,
that.
just share that screen.
Yeah, I want you to practice sharing that
Teaching
screen.
slides,
There's,
teachers.
So
Nice.
Nancy, so who, I don't have, who's, oh, so Leah, are you sharing it? Who's doing
No,
that?
it was Nancy.
It's me.
Nancy.
Nancy.
Okay. And then you can just kind of scroll through.
Yep.
You can use your mouse to scroll through. So sharing screen is like super easy. The one thing that you have to be mindful of is that the fact that your students are going to be, some of them might be on telephones, on smartphones, and their screen's going to be really tiny. So you'll have to hit Command plus and make your font, make the screen bigger, the text on the screen bigger. Okay. So let's go. So do unshare screen, Nancy. And then Sarah, it's your turn to share screen.
okay, so I'm gonna go share screen
Mm-hmm.
and then go to that. And then make sure I click on the sound and share.
Yep.
Ooh.
Sarah started screen share, double click to enter first screen.
Okay, mine is saying something about
I just
please
froze.
install the Zoom audio device. Did I not do this?
Can you repeat that? That's okay. That's how you learn. You got to do it.
Okay,
Muck
wait,
about.
I'm gonna, where are you?
Here,
Up, let's see.
you're sharing it now. I can see it. Can everyone else see it?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yep.
Okay,
You did it.
okay. All right, where are you?
You're on a Mac.
Okay, I'll just stop share. Okay, there. Okay,
Yeah,
so I
stop
did
share.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that's your share. So remember, what is it that you have to remember when you're sharing a screen? We'll look at some of the tools, but the big one is, remember, your students are on
The sound.
something like this. Yeah, the sound, but they're also, their screen might be this big. And so you've got to hit, you got to pay attention to your font size.
Okay.
If the text is so tiny, they won't be able to see it very well.
Hmm.
All right, Leah, you're next.
Okay. So, all right. Let us do, here we go.
If I do a breakout room, this is going to do it too.
Okay, and then,
Now your text looks really fuzzy for
Yeah,
some
Yeah, yours is
reason.
not coming in clear. Why is that?
I don't know.
Everyone else's was super clear.
Well, that's good to know.
Something about the size of your monitor, the size of my monitor, or
I do have a really big monitor.
okay, so it's set
So,
for reading on your monitor. I have a fairly good sized monitor too, but it's still looking blurry.
okay.
So maybe is there an optimization for kind of option?
Am I doing, hold on.
Okay.
There,
There you go.
Better?
it just totally
what'd you
cleared
do?
up.
So I had clicked on the optimize for full screen video clip in there just to see what it gave you guys, and apparently it makes it super fuzzy, so I'm not gonna do that anymore.
Oh, so don't optimize. Okay.
Don't optimize for
don't
video clip.
optimize.
Well, good.
It's
Okay.
That's how you learn. You test it, and excellent.
Okay.
Question. Oh,
Yep.
we're supposed to be able to scroll, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I did. It just took a while.
You want to try it again? Go for it. Do it one more time. This is deep learning happens when you just
Or
kind of go
somebody
deeper.
else do it, and then I'll try to scroll through theirs.
Oh, I don't.
No, you can't do that.
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay, okay. So I'm the one scrolling, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Right. When you're sharing a screen, you have control of that screen, and it's basically
And nobody can scroll my screen.
no.
Okay. I was like, how come I can't scroll Leah's screen? Okay. Okay.
Okay. So Leah, what about Carol? You want to ready to share your screen? I like a
Sure.
small class. This is awesome. Uh-oh, where'd she go?
Oh, there it goes.
Nice. We have to be. Yeah, yours is
Okay.
looking really nice and big. Yeah. Has anyone actually looked at Linda Bonder's website?
It's first time.
She's done a really good job of just putting her, as she's been training people over the last 5 years, place to presenting at conferences. It forced her to say, oh, well, I guess I just should be able to put it on a website so you can find it again.
Yeah. So shall I stop sharing?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Nice. Nancy.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, she had a funny little message.
A button in there, yeah.
Go for
Yeah,
it,
that's
Nancy.
iPad.
Do you want me to share again?
Oh, everyone did? Did
Yeah,
Pam
I
share?
did.
Pam, that's right. So you know what's happening for me is like you're changing your order on my gallery. So it's like I'm visually not going through the class very well.
Yeah, looks good.
Pamela. You don't go by Pam, right? It's just Pamela?
Pamela.
Pamela, okay. Yeah, thank you. Nice. All right, I think you've all mastered sharing your screen, at least that first step.
Thank you.
If you have to just sort of get practicing at, let's say you want to share multiple screens at, as if you're toggling back between a YouTube video or an audio link, just to get comfortable doing that over and over again. It just takes a little practice. So now where am I? Let me close chat. I'm kind of slow at the chat thing. And you've all used chat just to talk to each other?
Yeah.
Before? Notice, I'll show you later, but on a screen, but just as a reminder, we have the BLC account has made it impossible for students to talk with each other on an aside message. So students can't have side conversations in a chat box.
No private chats.
Okay.
No private, thank you. No private chats. I love it when people like Leah are in this class because they give me the right lingo.
But you do still have it active so that they can speak strictly to the instructor?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes, it does say that because if you could pull down the little everyone,
All right.
it shows BLC host and everyone.
And then when you get those private messages, can you toggle to just that student to send them a private message back
I
without
believe
putting them on
so.
blast? Okay.
Yeah, I believe so. I'll double check that with Linda, but private message chat. Okay. All right, so let's go back to, you feel like you've got the, I don't know why it doesn't show up for me. Let's go back to the slides for a second and oh, I hit the wrong thing. Sorry, don't want to do that. So you've mastered toggling back and forth. We've got the share screen. We've done, did you all see this window when you were having the option to share? You had whatever other tabs you had open on your computer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And there's the stop share, which is great, which is a nice red button. And let's jump to, have you all used the annotate tool?
No.
No one? Okay. Let's go. Once? Okay. Yep. Let's go back to, so you can practice one more time sharing a screen. And I'm just going to show you here at the top of your screen. When you hit share, you're going to see this bar that says mute, this bar right here. And you can drag, one thing really good to know that I learned, took me a while to figure out, was you can drag it around and move it on your screen, because sometimes it's blocking where your browser tabs are. Can you see me moving it around or no? No, you can't, because it's, yeah. it sometimes just gets in the way on your screen, and you have to be able to move it. So knowing that you can grab a piece of the black corner and just move it is really helpful, because it'll also drive you nuts. And then what I'm going to do is you can go up to this annotate tool, and it's going to give you another bar of choices. It's going to give you a text and a draw and a spotlight and all kinds of things. So I want you to be able to play around with that for a minute. But let's just say I wanted to draw, because this is a big one. I can just do a squiggly line, and I can pick my color. I'm going to just pick this bright orange. That's kind of an ugly color, but if I wanted to point out, here's your annotate button. You can change the thickness of how that line is. You probably know that. You just have to kind of play around and go under the format bar and change the thickness of it. So right now, why don't you take a minute to, I'm going to stop share and just take a look at that annotate, because pull up a share screen.
All of us at the same time.
How about I put? Are you comfortable going to breakout rooms and doing it with twos?
Sure.
Yeah, let's go to a breakout room. And in a breakout room, you always want to tell your students what it is you want them to do. So this is my big tip of the day. Tell your students, take a picture of this screen. This is what I want you to do in the breakout room. Have some of you experienced that already as a student because they won't know when they get there, right? They're like, what was I supposed to do? So a lot of them will have their phones. So yeah, she's got a little bit different direction here, but I'm just going to say, go to the breakout room. Here, let's take a picture of this screen, class log. Here's a blank Word Google document. So in breakout room, can you see this?
Yeah.
I'm giving you the direction. Share screen with, share your screen with your partner, and practice using the annotate tool. Or just play around with the tools, just look at them. There's an eraser, there's just mess with it with each other. And you can both, I think you can both annotate at the same time. We can all write on the same document if it's the host controlling it. Pretty sure. Why don't you test that for me? All right. So I would say take a picture of this, and I would also, if I'm working with students on those phones, I'd make sure that this is a really big font size, so they can see it on their phones. You're gonna have to play with that. Depends on who your students are and how many have got phones. You'll find out early on. But take a picture of this, or remember what you're supposed to do, and then we're going to take you to the breakout room and just play around. So do you know how to find the annotate tool again?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's under share screen, and it's the first, it's on that where it says stop share. It's just off to the right. It's just two little blocks to the right. It says annotate. It's just one of those toolbars. You play around with them more too, because you can see what all of your options are as a student. Okay, let's see if I can master this. So under breakout rooms, I'm going to assign 2 people to a room. You can have this automatic choice.
It'll do it randomized.
You can also do it manually as well. And I've got some slides about that later.
Okay.
There's a video that Linda made that you can watch, because this is the one thing you can't practice without having a bunch of people. You can go look at the button and see that you have auto and manual. So I'm going to create rooms. I've got a 3 and a 2, and I'm going to open all rooms. So Leah and Pam and Sarah, you're together, and Carol and Nancy, you're together. I can move you around if I want to, but I'm just going to let Zoom do their thing. Open all rooms, and
then we have to join, right?
How's everybody doing?
And we return.
Yeah, I think it's good to give students lots of time in a breakout room to mess around. But that's where it'll be really important for assistants, right?
So because of the technological issue, should we be padding more time, do you think, into breakout room activities in our schedule for what we've got the class listed as, based on the issues that we're going to have having to bounce between groups?
Yeah, I would initially, that's going to be my MO, is just to give them more time than I think they need and bounce around and just check in, which is what I did with you. One thing, yeah, since that was the first time I ever did a breakout room, I couldn't find my options for initially. You can set the minutes on how long it's under options.
Oh.
And it's telling you, it's the countdown for when the breakout room is going to close. I'm going to give you a warning, that kind of information. And also breakout rooms will close automatically after X minutes. And I can fill that in, how many minutes I want that breakout room to last. But when I actually rolled it out with you, all of a sudden that options bar wasn't there. And I was like, well, gee, I don't know.
So you have to set it beforehand or not at all?
I think so.
And it doesn't give you a countdown timer so you can keep track?
I didn't see one.
Oh no.
That's kind of my learning curve today. And I'm like, okay, I need to I could play around with breakout rooms a little bit more.
Okay.
So if you ever want to test it out, a breakout room, and be a host, we have a few sessions with BLC that you can just pop in and practice some more things if you want to do that. Or you can we can have another meeting another time, and I'm happy to let you practice with it and you be the host. Okay. So yeah, it's under the options. In fact, I'm going to just take a screenshot of that right now, and so I can show you a little bit better what I meant by that. Okay. Very good. You guys are doing great. What time do we have now?
11:44.
I think we can jump to yeah. Take a look at the screen share button for yourself right now, and click on the little arrow right to the right of it, and that's going to give you some more options.
So
do you have that, or maybe you're a student and you can't do that? Yeah, you should be able to do advanced, maybe not, advanced sharing options, multiple. You can click on one participant can share at a time, or multiple participants can share automatically simultaneously. Let me show you that. I have a screenshot of this. Since we're in screen share mode, I should probably stay there. Nothing like teaching when you go, well, no, I should have done it this way instead of that way. Yeah. Can you see that okay? When you're the host, you can click on this little arrow button to the right of screen share right here. Okay. In fact, I can use a tool. I can use, yeah, Linda said don't use the spotlight too much because sometimes you have to reboot, but I kind of like it. You can use this arrow and it's going to give you these choices. One participant can share at a time, or multiple participants can share at the same time, that kind of thing. So I had to give you that option so you could all share instead of me being in control of it. And then I can click advanced share options and this is where I had to give you the option that all participants can share their screens. I had to click on that button in order for you guys to be able to share your screens.
So the default is otherwise? The
default is otherwise. So here's where I circled. This is your decision as a teacher to decide when you're ready to tell your students that, yeah, I need everyone share their screen. You may not get there, especially if you're teaching level 1 or 2. But if you're teaching level 4 or 5 and they have a slide deck that they want to share, a picture about their family, and they want to talk about it, then they're going to need to be able to do that. So that's under advanced. Let me go back one. That's under advanced sharing options, right?
So I have a question. Could I've never understood why you would want multiple participants to share simultaneously. what would that even look like?
We could try it.
Try it.
Yeah, maybe they want all their videos to be playing at the same time. What do you think, Leah?
That sounds awful.
It sounds really crazy.
Who would see
Yeah.
them? I mean,
Maybe
how would that even
Typing
work?
a sentence or something.
Would it give you like, well, I'm interested to see how it would display itself on the screen. So if we had like two of us, do you have the setting checked right now?
No, let me go back to, let me turn this off. So in order for me to get that spotlight thing off, I had to go back and click on the mouse to get control of my mouse again. That's a big one. It took me a little bit to figure that out.
We'll all forget and highlight something we don't mean to.
I know, and you're like, how do I get my mouse back? Just go click on your mouse, go click on your mouse. Okay, I am slow. So therefore,
No
to
worries.
get out of this. So you want me to click on, I'm
The
going to click
ability
on
for-
advanced share options.
Yeah.
Multiple participants can share so dual monitors recommended is what it's saying.
Oh.
What the heck is that supposed to mean? Okay,
Well, let's try it. See if we break anything.
Okay, so everything else gets sort of faded and everyone can share a screen, I guess.
Let's give it a go.
Okay, let's go. I'm going to
Ready?
share my
Go.
whiteboard. Weird. Maybe it puts it in little, I'm the host, so did it just dominate it?
I'm seeing your screen, Leslie.
Yeah.
Really? It's saying that I'm seeing mine.
I'm
Yep.
only seeing mine.
I'm only seeing mine too.
Interesting.
It's a
Well,
very,
I'm not sharing mine at this point. So if I, oh, you cannot start screen sharing while the other participant is sharing. And again, maybe that's the iPad thing.
that might be the
rather than-
iPad thing because I definitely clicked.
Yeah.
Because you are screen sharing.
I wonder if we could toggle through other people's screens. How do
Wow.
we?
I just found it up at the
What?
top where it has view options.
Yeah.
You can go click through people's screens. There's a spot that says shared screen.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Where do
Leah,
you see
Pamela,
options?
Sarah.
View options.
I don't see that.
At the very top, you're going to see a green bar that says you are viewing Leah Weber's screen, and then to the right of that is a black view options, and then a drop down toggle arrow.
I don't have that. I have you are screen sharing.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
And then mute, stop video participants, new share, pause share. That's all I have.
I can
Oh,
see
so let-
Pamela's screen.
let
I
me,
can toggle through. What did you do?
So you can
Nancy?
toggle through as the
host.
host, but maybe we can't toggle through.
But Nancy said she saw it. She was the one who found it.
Yeah, but I had stopped sharing. So if you stop sharing,
Then you can look at other people's screens.
then you can look
Okay.
at the screen.
Let me. Oh yes, in the view options. Yep. Once I stopped sharing, then it would let me.
Okay.
And I can do side by side.
Oh, how to do that one?
Oh,
That is a
Oh, yeah.
good question. I don't know.
now I don't. Again, I don't say. Maybe I'm not going to be able to use this iPad.
Yeah, it might be limiting. I should kind of come up with an iPad limits.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what?
But I'm not actually teaching, I'm helping. So I suspect I'll be able to do what I need to. We'll find out.
Okay. All right, I switched it back. I don't think we're going to get to that because you're going to be messing with the textbook. I have to think, I don't know, that's your homework tonight. Think about how you might want people to toggle through things. It's certainly not level 1 or level 2 students, I don't think.
Okay.
But let me go back to here. Thank you for testing that. You're awesome. That's the best way to learn.
It is.
Muck
Yep.
about.
Absolutely.
So I tried to
People to
give you
help.
some, yeah. And also, while I'm on the theme of account settings, I also created a screen or a slide on 32 that's telling you what the BLC account settings are. These the defaults. That waiting room is turned off. As you notice, you could just log on. I didn't have to admit you. And we decided that would be a good way for students to say hello to each other before class. Maybe a little weird for the first class, so you want to get there early because they don't know each other yet. But once they get going, I think it'll be okay.
How much time do we have between, because we're all using the same Zoom account, right?
We have a bunch of Zoom accounts.
Okay. Okay. So there's not
But
going to be close overlap.
there is, well, no, in the email to you, I think we did say be mindful of that, because especially the evening classes, there's a 15-minute gap between,
Right.
you know, we have a 5:30 class, we have a 7:30 class, something like that, or 5 to 7. So in the evening classes, it's very important. In the day, you might have a little more smudge room to spill over in your class. You'll get, you know, because other people wouldn't be able to get logged on. I'll ask about the day time.
Question.
Yeah. Any other question?
Closed caption on the screen there. Does that do anything? Is it automated? Is it any good? If it is.
I don't know. I'd have
Okay.
to go do some research about it.
Okay. I'm just curious.
But the last little screen I gave you for helpful links is all Zoom tutorials, zoom.us. And they're actually like 3 to 5 minutes. And I inserted the one about making breakout rooms, which in this slide deck that you can go find. So you can look that up, because I really don't know much about closed caption. But that's the last slide. Okay, well, it's 5 minutes to 12, and I'm happy to go over, because I want to talk about lessons with Intercambio, but that's going to be more for tomorrow in the bigger picture of things. But let's go back to breakout rooms just for a second. I think maybe for homework, it might just be a good idea. This is slide 19. For you to just watch Linda's tutorial or Zoom's tutorial, or both, or so you have an idea of what I was talking about. And I'll also share, I'll add that screen, that screen capture that I took when I was like, To me, tutorials are pretty helpful, but as long as they're under 5 minutes. I don't like watching a whole lot of stuff. Any questions about that? Is that okay for you to do that for homework?
That's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way that I can create that, you know, create a simulation. You just have to watch a tutorial on it. But I just did it for the first time and it didn't mess up too bad.
Something will break along the way while we're teaching.
Or you're
It's
just like,
how it works.
yeah, everything's new at first. But the biggest one is like, tell students what they need to do when they get to the breakout room, because then they're just like, the only thing you could do is broadcast that in a little message and they might forget. So that's the big one. Sometimes if you can't find them, this little image, the icon doesn't show up, look in the more or the 3 dots. Always look for the 3 dots. But I think the icon will show up. So that's your homework, and I'll write that down in an email to you, and then take a picture. And maybe just a quick conversation as our closing today is like, how might you use breakout rooms? Maybe just get yourself in teacher mode for a minute. And I could put you in a breakout room for a few minutes and you could talk with each other if you want to do that, but just come up with a list of how do you envision this? Is that an okay question?
Yeah. I would probably use it for individual group work if I give them like a new grammatical structure or a new vocabulary word that they don't know, to try to build their own sentences with and share with each other in small groups versus having to do it in front of the whole class. And maybe they can decide which of their sentences they like the most and come back to the class, and then we can do a larger group share. So something like that.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. That the old think, pair, share. Some of you former teachers or classroom teachers. Think, pair, share. That was the one that got drilled into me. Think about it. Turn to your partner and share it. So it's all this partner work. Anything else about breakout rooms that you might see beside partner work?
I think pronunciation practice.
Okay, that would be nice to have the assistant there, right, or a native speaker. What if you're teaching a level 4 higher level class? Where might you see breakout rooms?
Well, I was gonna say, sort of more creative work than where something you can they can do searches on their own or discussions on their own of where they've heard structures in there. So just sort of more personal. Before, do I have questions for them to think up questions for usage in whatever it is that we're giving them.
Yeah, that's how I see it. Just that maybe 3 people in a group and having a class discussion about a topic, just so they can get intimate, because it's just so hard to get this online stuff. It's too big. We've tried to keep our classes small, but some of them are going to be about as big as 12.
Yeah. Well, and if you have 12 to 15 people in a room, you're inevitably going to have 2 or 3 that are the ones that speak most often. And by forcing them into smaller groups, it sort of forces everybody else to participate.
Right. And
so.
And not just, but that's what you want. Yeah. The host talking less and the students talking more with each other. Yeah. Anything else you might see or do with a breakout room?
I need to look at the curriculum.
Yeah, that's true. But just thinking generally as a teacher, you know, like, yeah, it's paired work, it's discussions, it's go do this work and come back and report to the class. And it might be nice to have that, you know, it'll re-scramble them for you as well, so that you can have breakout rooms where you have these groups that are set for the whole class, and they always stay in this group, or you can re-scramble it. So for example, the first class I envision re-scrambling all the time, because I want people to meet each other.
Right.
Get in twos and just say, hello, my name is, and where are you from, and that kind of thing. But it'll be so wonderful to have assistants. The more assistants, the better, for sure. Okay. Any other questions about breakout rooms?
I assume before we all start that we will have some kind of a login that says we are the assistant, or we have like host capabilities, or the logistics behind who we are and what capabilities we have.
Right. You can be the host can assign you as a co-host.
Okay.
So then that gives you host powers to jump around rooms too.
Okay.
But that would be good to have a good cheat sheet for the assistants about what that means. Is that what you need? Yeah, I think that would be helpful.
Well, and as an instructor, how we assign them that.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess the question there too is, how do we log in? Do we log in as a student, or do we log in? There are 2 different rooms, right?
You log in as I think Linda gave you a login as an assistant. Like, for example, I got an email that was about my class. One was for lead, and one it was an assistant. Let me get back to you on that tomorrow. I need some clarification on that end of it. I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm just guessing right now. So best to get some information. But yeah, I can see that that's missing. We need to give you that a little more clarity on that. Anything else?
Yeah, I have a question. The class start dates are what?
The week of September 21st. 21st.
Okay, super.
Oh, I thought it was the 14th.
It was, but we pushed it off a week because Beaverton School District, their start date was also pushed off a week. So we believe in starting a week after the public schools start, because it's just a lot to get, you know, if you raise kids, it's a lot to get going. We get your kids in school and figure all that, and then you do your thing. So we believe in a week. Piano teachers do that too, right? No, don't start the first week of school. Start the second week. So
let the chaos settle.
Exactly. So yeah, the 21st is nice. That also gives you a little bit more time to muck about with the curriculum and meet if you have an assistant or a lead, to meet each other and share ideas. And so that's going to give you a little more slush time, which I feel pretty good about, frankly. And yeah, that's it. Any other questions?
I was just curious about the left and the right books for the different levels.
The intercambio which is coming out of Boulder, Colorado, this organization, they designed their curriculum. They used to call it 1 and 2 or A and B. I don't know. This year they came up with left and right, but you start with the left and you end with the right, and the curriculum is designed to cover a whole year. Simple as that. And we're just everyone's starting with the left.
Okay.
I really don't know why they did that. I'd have to ask her. Maybe it's a way to teach your students too, right? Left, right, kind of built it in. So your homework tonight too then would be to take, if you didn't look at these slides, you kind of get a quick overview. Each book has these units, how it's kind of structured, and get online. I think I have it here. I put a link in. You can open this link to find the books. This is in your welcome letter as well. This is the page that I created for the welcome letter to give you access to all the books. You have to log into ISSUU first, and the password is teacherbooks@beavertonliteracy.org in 2020. That's also in this information. And then you can get to the book itself. And when you get to the book, it looks like this. It's a few steps because you have to go up to purchases, and then find the books. Look at the screenshots to get on. And then you just click on the book. Someone's teaching level 2, right?
Yep, that's me.
So click on the book and just spend a few minutes just getting a feel for it. You have a zoom in button, and then tomorrow we'll play around with the annotate and play around with the exercise on it as well. Stop share. Okay.
Okay.
I think that's the homework. Let me go back. And the slides are all there for your, just when you have a whole lot of tabs open, you're just like, whoa. Okay. Any tips for that, Leah? How do I go? Tab overload.
I was going to say have less tabs open. That's
Tab
really the only
less
way.
Okay, so basically your homework is to mess around with the intercambio books. I'm going to ask you this question about an anatomy of a lesson. See, before you look at slide 28 and how Linda thinks about it, you should think about it first. So I'm going to ask you that. Think about, well, what's the structure of a lesson in your mind? Just an overview. What do you start with? What do you end with? Not the detail of a lesson, but just the outline of a lesson. And mess around with the books. And then we'll just play around with ideas tomorrow.
Okay.
So look at I'll put this in an email to you, but look at the books and then watch Linda's breakout room. And I'll come back with you, this one. Slide 19, I'll come back with you some answers about the login stuff, okay? So Pamela, you won't be able to be here tomorrow, right?
That's right.
Okay, I'm sorry that isn't working out very well. I'm happy to meet with you another time if you would like to do that, or you can look at the times. There's a meeting, I think, on the evening. There are drop-ins with BLC.
Yeah.
Did you get that email? And you can just join in.
This is probably going to be enough.
Okay.
Since I'm an assistant, I think, to get started.
Great.
I'm wondering, Leslie, the slides that we looked at, is it possible to send that as a PowerPoint document? I'd like to do my own cheat notes.
Absolutely. Okay.
Thanks.
So I'll send a PowerPoint for you.
Thank you so much.
How many of you have a Google Drive account or do you use Google? Just
I'd
Leah?
prefer not to.
Sarah? You prefer not to? No, okay. Or just Word, yeah. So I find it pretty useful. So one thing I do is I'll create a class log for the students and this is a document that I can work on as basically like your chalkboard instead of using their whiteboard. We'll talk about that a little bit tomorrow. It doesn't have to be a Word doc. A Google Doc, it could be a Word doc, but it's pretty handy to have another tab open for something to write on. All right. I'll see you tomorrow at 11. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Really
Okay.
good.
My pleasure.
Thank
And please, if you have any more questions, just email me, and I hope I remembered everything. I'll throw an email out to you right now and ask you, is that everything? And so feel free to reply to that and say, no, I want to know blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
And
Okay.
okay, so we're here to help you, and we were so thankful that you are part of the team, because we have 330 students or something like that.
It's a big
Um,
number.
It's a big number, and we have it because Sisters of St. Mary's, they closed their program for the year. So we
Oh.
probably picked up another 150 students plus some of their tutors. I mean, they're teachers. So we're
Oh,
also
wow.
absorbing a program that we didn't have last year. So
Is there a way that we can find out how many students are signed up for the class we're teaching?
your roster is coming. You will have access to the Airtable database, and so you can look at your class roster. I thought you could do that now. Let me double check. When you got your email, no, you didn't have your roster?
Not
Okay.
yet.
It's coming. It's just, I think they need that time to plug in people and move people around. They're kind of, this is the week to do that. So they're trying to get it really set. You know what level you're teaching, but not, the names of your students yet, but that's coming. It's coming.
Okay.
We have a really nice database that gives you view access, or actually you can have access and copy and paste their email addresses. It gives you a lot of power to do that as a viewer. So
Okay.
it's nice. Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
I will
you.
stop
Tomorrow.
share, and we'll see you tomorrow. You're the best. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a good
Ciao.
afternoon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You too.
Bye.
Bye.